Kenyans suffered terrible violence after the disputed presidential elections of 2007. As part of the Peace Pact, the fragile coalition government agreed to put a stop to impunity. Political leaders have been getting away with murder for as long as we can remember because the Kenyan judicial system is too weak to deal with them. So, in 2009, Parliament voted resoundingly for the International Criminal Court, the ICC, to step in, which it did. On December 15, 2010, the ICC announced the names of 6 prominent Kenyans to be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. This caused panic among politicians, who immediately looked for a way out.
There are no doubts that massive crimes were committed in Kenya. The issue is who is responsible here. I want to be clear, we are not investigating the elections. We are not analyzing political responsibilities. We are not making any judgment on the political parties. We are investigating murders, rapes, forced displacements, crimes against humanity.
I'm Maina Kiai, and I've spent most of my life fighting for justice and human rights. So for me, this is an extraordinary moment. I think it's the best chance Kenyans have ever had to stop impunity. For the first time, powerful people will have to take individual responsibility for their actions instead of using their position or their community as a shield. Because this is no longer a local affair for our politicians to play around with. Luis Moreno Ocampo has told the whole world that he wants to prosecute 6 Kenyans. That is a game changer. When Mr. Ocampo made the announcement from The Hague, Kenyans held their breath and watched.
In accordance with our investigation, we found that as early December 2008, William Ruto and Henry Koski, leaders of the Orange Democratic Party movement, began preparing a criminal plan to attack those identified as supporters of the Party of National Unity, in particular in the area of Rift Valley. Joshua Sange played a crucial part on this. He's a journalist, and he was involved in the planning of this operation, collecting supporters and also using the radio messages to pass code messages. So they started this network, and after the announcement of the result of the election, they immediately start operation. Their followers, thousands of members of this network, began to attack different places on 30 and 31 of December. They attacked Turbo Town, the greater Eldoret area, and Nandi Hills Town. They approached each location from all directions, very well coordinated. They had transport, they have weapons provided by the coordinators, and they start to burn homes, to kill people, and systematically force displace these people from their homes. As a response of these attacks, a member of the government also committed crimes. We identified 3 individuals. First one is Francis Mutahura, who was the chairman of the National Security Advisory Committee. And as such, he authorized the police to use excessive force against civilians in Kisumu and Kibera. They were shooting and killing more than 100 people that they identified supporters of the other party, of the ODM party. The second tactic they implement was to make an agreement with the Mungiki and other groups and let them to attack the civilians. This was facilitated by Mr. Kenyatta, who was the focal point between the Mungiki, who is a group in Kenya, and the Party of National Unity. And so Mr. Kenyatta's role was to facilitate the activities of the Mungiki, and Mr. Mudhaura and Ali's role was to let them to commit the crimes. Mr. Ali was the head of the police in Kenya in those days. So these are the 6 names we identify as the person who should face justice. They are still innocent. We're just presenting the prosecutor evidence. The judge will decide.
The ICC has been doing independent investigations inside and outside Kenya. Ocampo told me he feels confident he can get some of the key organizers of the chaos, the so-called big fish, but it's up to Kenya to do the rest.
Which one?
First, he'll present his evidence to 3 judges at the ICC pre-trial chamber. If they decide his evidence is strong enough, the 6 will be prosecuted. They could be held here, in a Skivningen prison, to await trial. What do Kenyans think of that?
Liberation. We are liberating ourselves from impunity. These will be the days where everybody will be accountable for. Whether position gani uko nayo, you must be accountable for.
I'm totally shocked. I thought Kibaki and Raila would be included. Seriously. Because they're the ones who are calling the shots.
The list that Ocampo has come up with, he has really not done justice to Kenyans. Actually, for the people to have fought, it is not because of the tribal kind of thing. It is because their justice was denied from them. Because after 40, people knew which party was going to win. And when the elections were really announced, the people were unhappy.
When we were trying to make our own local tribunal here, the parliamentarian was shouting to the loudest of their voice, Hague, Hague, Hague. The Hague has come. Because they were thinking that Hague will take 99 years. It took 2 years. Ocampo is on our neck. Let them go and face the justice in Hague.
As I was seeing the names from the media, I've seen it was between 2 ethnic tribes, the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins. Even the ones picked, in my view, they are just from 2 communities, and it was not the case. Because me, I was in Nairobi, and it was not the case. Everybody fought.
Walikuwa wanaona kama watu wa Kenya ni wajinga sana. Wakaona pia kuna pesa mingi ya kutoa ya kufanya ufujo. Kwa hivyo vile Ocampo amefanya kitu ya maana sana. Hao watu wafunga hata kunyonga wanyongwe tu.
Wasiende kwa hivi kubembelezwa ati waende wabembelezwe ati jini wakubwa. Hapana, waende wakalisho chini. Watatoa wengine juu. Ukiangalia hiyo side ni PNU na ODM. Na hawa watu wote wametajwa sio wako mapati leaders. Unaona? Walikuwa tu ni hawa watu walikuwa hapo wapi? Hapa chini. Kwa hivyo wakazidi kuhojiwa. Bado siri iko. Ocampo afanye kazi, azidi kufanya kazi.
The ICC list is a shocking blow for our political class. They've always protected themselves across party lines. They have no fear of prosecution in Kenya. Our entire judicial system has proved too weak. Poor police investigations, corrupt courts, too much political pressure. So Parliament did what our politicians do best. If you don't like the law, just change it. They immediately passed a motion recommending a pullout from the treaty that binds Kenya to the ICC, the Rome Statute. But it's not that simple. The Rome Statute is enshrined in the Constitution, which must take public opinion into account. And that has been firmly in support of the ICC. Withdrawal from an international treaty is a long process and certainly won't save the Ocampo 6. If Kenya stops cooperating, arrest warrants will be issued. After all, it was government and parliament who invited the ICC to step in. It has nothing to do with offending our sovereignty. Over the last 3 years, the state has clearly proved itself unable and unwilling to take action. A local tribunal was rejected 3 times by the very same parliament.